Commissioner, you were always optimistic that a deal would be reached. Is it the right deal, or is this deal enough?
It is the right deal, and it showed that, yes, we have divisions, but Europe is stronger than our divisions. So something unprecedented will happen in the next 2 or 3 years. The European Commission will raise hundreds of billions of euros in the markets and distribute them in grants and loans to member states. And this is really something changing the perspective of our solidarity in the Union.
Commissioner, when will countries actually see disbursements from the fund?
Well, countries that will reach the higher level of disbursement will be the more affected countries. And the timing will be next year. We need time for final approval from national parliament, and we need time to raise in the markets this amount of money, and we need time to have plans from member states that should be coordinated and towards our strategic priorities. We can't spend this huge amount of money without having a more competitive and more sustainable European economy.
The recovery fund will be financed by 750 billion euros in jointly issued bonds. Is this the first step towards a safe euro asset?
Well, it is not the decision that was taken today, honestly. Indeed, today, several member states stressed the fact that this is really extraordinary and it is linked to the emergency that we are facing. And I think we have to stay to this decision. Then in the future, I think that if this solidarity will work and if we will have good result from this common issuing in the markets, I think this will be an experience to be used also from the Union in the future. But it is not the decision we are taking today.
Commissioner, I understand there's a lot of cause for celebration and Europhiles are happy that the continent staying together and that it came to an agreement. But are you concerned that more than 50 billion euros will be paid out to fiscal hawks in budget rebates in order to get them to sign this agreement?
Well, I could not remember how many compromises were necessary in these 4 or 5 days to reach the agreement. So you are mentioning one of them, and rightly so, the one on the so-called rebates. Unfortunately, we had also cuts to the multi-annual financial budget. But all in all, I think that 6 months ago, the very idea of the European Commission managing a financial tool of 750 billion, which is adding to another one that is called SURE, that is 100 billion euros, and distributing this amount of money to member states would have been considered completely crazy. So yes, we had compromises to reach the deal, but the deal is really extraordinary.
So the compromises were worth it? I know there were also compromises on, for example, the investment for climate change, the rule of law linkage to the EU budget. It was abandoned. Is there any chance that the Parliament is actually not happy with this deal?
Well, I think that discussion with the Parliament will be essential because the Parliament criticism is in several of these compromises fully justified. But also I think we need the support of the Parliament to go forward. As far as the investment are concerned, yes, we have cuts in some investment programs, but at the same time, huge part of this enormous amount of common money will be targeted for investment. So all in all, investment will grow, and especially investment for the Green Deal and the digital transition.
So as we go through the numbers, I think that the fiscal transfer will be of about 0.7 or 0.5% of GDP, but below 1% of GDP in terms of fiscal transfers. Do you think it'll be enough overall to deal with the kind of crisis that we're facing?
Well, until now we had 4% of GDP in expenditures from member states. And even 25% of GDP in guarantees and liquidity measures from member states. This is something completely different and new because it is common money addressed to countries and realities in deeper difficulty, and common money to support our strategic priorities. So the commitment of member states and the European commitment are combining themselves to have, I think, a strong recovery. So this percentage of common initiative is adding up to a strong member state initiative, but it is absolutely crucial to avoid differences among different parts of Europe more or less affected by the pandemic.
Commissioner, do you think that this fund will actually deactivate some of the Euroscepticism that we've seen in certain European countries?
I do think so, because the message of this initiative is that in front of this pandemic crisis, you can't have winners and losers, and you should react as a community. And this is also a message of Europe protecting its citizens. And it is absolutely what is needed to weaken the Euroscepticism and the nationalistic positions in member states.